Hi, I'm Paul and welcome to Zilla Cabs. At Zilla, we believe that your tone doesn't just lie in your guitar, amp and pedals, but in your speaker and cab choice too. In this video, we're going to look at reducing weight. We're going to split things down into 4 sections: reduced size, fewer speakers, different materials and lighter speakers. And we're going to see how close we can get to that sound in our heads with the least amount of compromise. We're going to look at someone using a 4x12 and playing rock music, which means there will be some gain or distortion and a fair amount of low end. For me, one of the best ways to keep weight down is reducing the number of speakers. Now, if you get the right cab and speaker combination, then you should be able to retain a lot of the positive attributes of the original cab. In our case, the player is using a 4x12, so we're going to have to find a cab that has a fair amount of low end and a good spread of sound. Now, it's probably important to say that if the player is using one of the many smaller heads on the market, then a vertical 2x12 will be perfect. But if they're using a full-size head, they're probably better off with an oversized horizontal 2x12. Here we've reduced weight from around 40 kilos to probably about 27, and not only that, it's become a one-person lift. Next up, we're going to look at reducing size, but first let's take a listen to our vertical super fat boy against our standard 4x12. Smaller cabs should be lighter, and the aim here is to reduce weight, so this is often where people start. But this may be the least important option, or at least the one that potentially carries the greatest sacrifice, which is reduced low end. Now, like for like, same materials, same construction, smaller cabs will sound smaller. You'll also notice that a lot of smaller cabs are often open back, which can further emphasize the reduced low end. Now, we do have a trick up our sleeves. We can port cabs, but for guitar, ported 2x12s can sometimes sound a little artificial and often increase weight. We can use thinner woods, but it is definitely noticeable, and why we use the same 15mm birch ply for our Fatboy 2x12 as what we use in most of our 4x12s, and why we use an 18mm birch ply in our ported 1x12s to help compensate for its slightly smaller size. Our smallest 2x12, the small vintage, is made from a 12mm birch ply and has a reduced depth, making it great for open combo-like tones and portability. But as you're about to hear, when compared to a Fat Boy, if you're coming down from a 4x12, maybe a step too far. There's an unfortunate commentary that cabinet material doesn't make a difference, but this just isn't the case. That said, it is something we can use sometimes to help reduce the weight of the cab. The two most common materials would be birch ply, which is a dense material and therefore heavy, and pine, which is a less dense material and therefore lighter. There are some other materials out there, but they generally come with a tonal sacrifice. For this video, we've made a custom Fat Boy out of pine to illustrate the difference. Now let's hear it against our standard 15mm birch ply Fat Boy and see what happens. One surefire way to reduce weight is to use a lighter speaker, and the first speaker that comes to mind is Celestion's Neo Creamback. Now the Vintage 30 is 4.7 kilos and the Neo Cream is 1.7. So we can take our 40 kilo 4x12 down to 28 kilos, which straight off the bat is a massive saving. Now you're going to ask how much of a tonal compromise this is, and I have to say not that much at all. When it comes to Neo speakers, the biggest compromise is lack of choice, but in the Neo Creamback you get a really solid speaker. It's also generally quite a bold sounding speaker, which makes it perfect for smaller cabs and 1x12s. Now let's hear the Neo Creamback in direct comparison with the Vintage 30 in our standard 4x12 and see how much of a compromise it really is. Maybe a 4x12 is achievable after all. Okay, so we've looked at 4 different ways of reducing weight from a rig. My personal favourite would be to reduce the number of speakers, but making sure that you pick the right cab. So a 4x12 down to our Fat Boy or Super Fat Boy 2x12s. Vertical if you can, but if your amp's too big, then going for the horizontal version. Or if you're going from a 2x12, then going for our Fat Baby or ported 1x12s. Then if you want to take weight down further, I'd go for a Neo Creamback. Now there are going to be some tonal compromises there, but you're still going to get pretty close to what you had before and you're going to almost half the weight. I hope you found this video useful. We've only mentioned a few options here, and if you've made it this far, then weight's obviously important to you. So I'd like to point you to our cab changer. We've developed a system so that while you're designing your perfect cab, you can see how these options affect the weight. And not only that, if you click the speaker icon, you'll be able to hear how your cab sounds. So to finish off, let's hear our vertical Fat Boy 2x12 loaded with a pair of Neo Creambacks. But before that, I want to say thanks for watching. For more info, check the description below. And until next time, stay cool, hang tough, and riff hard.